And we're going to go live. Hello. Welcome all my internet friends. This is JJ. I got Jamie. I got Austin here. And we're coming at you live with some total Spotfest. Gentlemen, how y'all doing this evening?
Can't complain.
Yeah, doing well, man.
I'm sure you could if you wanted.
Yeah, I could complain.
Well, we do want to thank everybody for hopping in here. Thank you for all those who joined us as well this past weekend. If this is your first time here, we always tell you to make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. We were live this past Friday, pre-show for Fountain City Pro's second show, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. But we're coming back at you in separate rooms. I know Heather said it was weird seeing us together in the same room. You know. So what's been going on, guys? I know I just saw you a couple of days ago, but
I have no AC.
what, you still have no AC? Didn't the guys come to go fix that?
Oh yeah. Fix it, sure. Have to order the part. It's like $2,000, or I just replace the whole system because it's over 20 years old and I don't have to worry about it. I'm doing that. Coming Friday. Getting a whole new furnace and everything.
Well, hey, you have a whole new system, so there's that.
Yeah.
And at least it's before we like really get into the summer when it gets real hot.
Yeah. It's like I've had my windows down. Like it's been great, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. It's been awesome having just the only day that was kind of bad was Saturday. Saturday was a little rough. Like it was like 80 something in the house. I'm like, okay, this shit needs to stop. This is like 70s, so it's fine.
See, I get mid 70s and I'm like, why is it roasting in here? AC, crank that shit.
Crank that soldier boy. Sorry.
I'm also the guy in the winter. My house is like 66, right? And I'm just going around. And I'm like, it's perfect. It's great in here.
73 year round. I'm good.
I can't.
We keep it right around 60, 68 or so. That's just right.
In the winter, I go like 67, 68, in the summertime, because I don't want to pay an arm and a leg for my little ass house. I'll go 72 is what it's at right now. And, when it gets to like the middle of the summer, I'll go 73-ish, maybe 74. But yeah, well, something else heating up is independent wrestling, especially here in Kansas City. And this past Friday, like I said, we were at doing the pre-show, and we were all at Fountain City Pro's latest show, Bombs Over Ball. Austin did indeed have a match after all, and got a little jobbed in that match. Definitely got some screw going on here in Olathe, Kansas.
If you didn't see the show, just assume I won in dominating fashion. And if you were at the show, keep your damn mouth shut.
What's up, Rob?
So kind of like how I took the belt from you.
I have no recollection of that.
Yeah, see, exactly. It all works out. That did, ladies and gentlemen.
Here's the thing. All human history is just a best guess based off what the people around said about it. We can't confirm anything that happened in the past. They can doctor videos now. There's AI and stuff. You don't know what really happened, so just take my word for it. I won. I always win. I never lose.
He's our learning tree, folks. He's our learning tree.
I am a learning grove of trees.
There you go.
I am beyond a single tree. I'm a learning forest.
Learning forest. You heard it here, folks.
But it was a good time. I wish it's the next show is going to be in July, so definitely got a little bit of time here. Not as many people were at this show, unfortunately, than the last one, but it is that time of year when graduations are happening, a bunch of things going on here. So I'm looking for a real good turnout in the summer, especially because it's in an air-conditioned room. And other than WWE and AEW, I don't know if I've been to a place that's been like actually air conditioned. like, Glory Pro, yeah, an old building though. Up in Iowa, for Revolver, sure, but it's also a soccer stadium, indoor soccer, so kind of. So, but anyway, it's going to be interesting in the summertime. Actually, air-conditioned wrestling. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, Big Rob's going to be in Italy.
Oh,
that seems like a lame-ass excuse not to be there.
Dude,
yeah, bro, they got pizza and lasagna here. And Found City
for how many thousands of years? It's not going anywhere.
Like, why would you go to a place where they don't even know how to make a tower upright? Like, the entire place is structurally unsound. Their own Coliseum is falling apart. It is in total disrepair. Why go to Italy?
This is basically underwater. I mean, it's more or less Atlantis anymore.
I've got a Sbarro at the gas station down the street. That's as much Italy as I need.
All right.
Now that we've angered the Italians.
Hot take. I actually love Sbarro.
Same.
I'll fight anybody that says otherwise.
I love pizza and pasta of any sort. I will happily smash a Totino's. Like, Sbarro, mess me up with that any day of the week.
Dude, Totino's. Woo, yeah.
Like, to me, there's no such thing as bad pizza. Like, even cheap pizza is still good to me.
That is the adage. And that does remind me of a pizza to put in the oven as soon as we're done here. But what do you think, Jamie? Pro Sbarro? Nah, Sbarro? Because I know adage that any pizza's like sex. Even bad.
Yeah, even when it's bad, it's good. Yeah.
But there's a fine line.
So I mean, hot take. It's not a hot take. It's mid. Like, it gets the job done. Don't get me wrong, but it's no Casey's pizza.
See, and I'll take Sbarro of Casey's any day of the week.
I will also take Sbarro over Casey's, and I have one of each, like a quarter mile from the house in either direction. Casey's is very good, but I think I would still go. Actually, here's what I like about Sbarro. You can get a really good giant slice, and you can get it by the slice, which not all places do. Their Stromboli is also phenomenal, and it's cheap as hell. So, like, what's not to like?
And it's the weirdest thing for me is that, especially here in Kansas City, people rave about Casey's Pizza, and I'm just like, my entire life I've grown up, Casey's is a gas station, right? And I know there's
more
the
than a
Buc-ee's
gas
thing. We're not
station.
talking. I know it's more than. I hear you. Not to me though. It's not, because no Casey's I've ever been around focused on food ever. Right. I've always had Casey's in Jeff City and in Missouri, and when we lived in Columbia, right, nobody went out of their way to go get Casey's for pizza or anything other than, I'm here, I'll get something to eat while I'm here. It's kind of the purpose, So I don't hold Casey's in that regard. I don't put it up there with Buc-ee's where I'll drive to go get their food, right? That's just my opinion. And apparently I'm wrong, according to most of the people that I live around.
Oh,
so
100% wrong. Like, that is the most St. Louian type answer of all time. Like, Casey's, we don't do that over here.
We did it.
It's like, dude, I grew up in a town of 2,000 people, and we had hot stuff pizza, okay? Hot stuff pizza. And then our rival town happened to have a Casey's. And I happened to be over there early in the morning, and I had this invention called breakfast pizza from Casey's. And ever since then, I am a Casey loyalist through and through. Like, my tippy top of all the pizzas I've ever had, and I know it's not even anywhere on anybody else's list. That's fine. Godfather's Pizza. Godfather's hamburger pizza is literally the best pizza. I love Godfather's Pizza.
I like some
Godfather's good. I like Godfather's.
Man, on the top. Woo.
Probably not above many other pizzas, but Again, man, if it's pizza, I'm in.
Right?
You know what legit is fantastic pizza? Bojo's out in Colorado.
Never had it.
You know, the entire time we lived in Denver, never got around to getting Bojo's. I've only heard phenomenal things.
It's a deeper dish pizza, but it's not like Chicago deep dish, right? It's kind of more like, Pizza Hut deep dish style, right?
Oh, like
So
their pan pizza?
Yeah, like the pan pizza, right? So it's like it's Colorado deep dish is what they call it. The kick with Bojo's is that the whole outside of it is like this big, right? The crust of it. And the purpose is this. You get your pie, they put it down in front of you. Pizza's really good. You can get like 8 million toppings. You can get shrimp and hearts of palm if you want. It's one of those types of things. You can get like anything on there, right? But you get your pizza, you eat it, you enjoy it. Really good. Really damn good pizza. And you save that crust because every table has a bottle of honey on it. What's that honey for? Well, you can put on your pizza if you want. I know some people do that. But it's meant to be, your dessert is that crust. You take that crust, you pour some honey in there. Oh, so good. Bojo's Colorado Pie. If you're ever out in Colorado, check them out.
I will be next weekend for 2 nights.
You sure will.
Triple
Nice segue.
Look at that segue, because there's other independent wrestling going on here.
Bringing us back to independent wrestling.
Yep.
Not to gloss over Pound City Pro, which we will discuss, but next weekend, Friday and Saturday, live from the Oriental Theater, Lucha Libre and Laughs. If you are anywhere near the area, it is the most fun you'll ever have at a pro wrestling show.
They still have tickets?
There are still limited tickets available, but for the last about 2 years, they have sold out at least a day before the show. So if you're going to be in the area, I would highly recommend hopping on that sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because if it sells out and you show up looking for a ticket, the promoter will walk outside, call you a nerd, and slam the door in your face. Probably. Sounds like something he'd do.
Their sign they put up is sold out. Sorry, nerds. They always put.
Yeah, it's always sucks to be you, nerds. We're sold out.
Yeah. It is going to be a fantastic show. Definitely wish we could make it, but we got just not a good time for Jamie or myself here. But Austin will be there. Heidi will be there as well. Effie's going to be there. You got the people that are going to be on this.
Royce Isaacs, Alex Shelley, Danhausen,
celebrating 10 years of Royce Isaacs at Triple L.
11 years of Triple L, 10 with
And
Royce
he
Isaacs.
only gets beefier every year. Like the term brick shithouse was invented to describe Royce Isaacs. That is just a mountain of a man. And a good brother too. I love Royce Isaacs.
He is a big dude. We got to see him actually at Journey Pro back in the day when his tag team rolled through.
Yep.
That's been a minute.
That has been a hot minute. That was a while ago. Oh wow.
Yeah, hell, Filthy Tom Lawler's even gonna be there. Like, dude,
The Tom Lawler, Miyu Yamacha's going to be there.
the only person we don't know who their opponent's gonna be, at least on night 1 or night 2. We don't know anything. Is Heidi? Like, we don't know who's Heidi wrestling.
You'll have to show up to find out who Heidi Howitzer will defend that Triple L title against on night 1.
So
we also don't know who Austin Reddick is wrestling, but I will be in tag team action with my young boy T2G both nights.
Oh, 2 nights of tag team for you.
See, look at that. We got a little spoiler there, ladies and gentlemen.
2 nights of tag team action.
I thought it was just the first night. Oh, well, there you go, guys. Again, if you've never been to Triple L, make it a point to try and make it out there. I know, short notice for this coming week if you're not in the Denver area, but if you're going to be close to Denver, it's well worth it. Get your ticket, 100%. It's a fantastic promotion, a different promotion. Just don't sit in the first row. Trust me. Your neck will hurt.
4 rows back, because usually that front row shenanigans are typically afoot in that first row.
So that could be a reason to sit in there, but because they're on a stage, you'd be like this the whole time.
The action will spill out all over the arena. It has even gone up to the balcony before, where one time I believe Anaya came very close to throwing someone off the balcony.
It was him and Effie. He fought Effie.
Yeah, we had Lindsay Dorado jumping off like the little fake balcony gimmicks on the wall at one point in time. Like, it's wild. Heidi Howitzer will likely beer waterboard somebody out in the crowd. That usually happens. It's a great time.
Speaking of Heidi, why don't we talk about at Fountain City? She faced off against one Camaro Jackson, and that was a beefy match. It started out with some serious chops, spilled out into the crowd a little bit, and one of us was used as a prop. And it was not me, and it was not Austin.
No, it was I. I was just sitting there minding my own business, enjoying my seat with my friends and Jamie and his family, of course. And all of a sudden, I have a Camaro in my lap. And those of you who don't know, and I'm not a small dude, but Camaro's not a small dude either. So I have this large man just placed into my lap, to which one Miss Heidi Howitzer is trying to get some assistance to do some heel shit, right? So she calls asking for my help, which I don't give her because she never said my name.
She said my name because I'm her favorite.
Sure, whatever, you know? But hey, so she's in there, Jamie, and I go, I just stick my hand, like, why don't you help me? I'm like, you haven't said my name. She goes, oh shit, you're the other one.
The other one, see? Totally the favorite.
See, that needs to be a shirt now. Just, oh shit, I'm the other one.
That's the story of my life, Austin. Okay. It's too depressing for me to actually make the shirt. But puts so Canaro's in there and she goes to slap him, but luckily he moves and she holds off. I thought for sure I was gonna get double chopped, which I could take it, but it would have kind of sucked a little.
I mean, you wouldn't hold him, so your ego was bruised enough right then. So
maybe that one would have hurt your soul. I did end up holding him a smidge, you know.
Hey, a bruised ego is still better than a double overhand chop any day of the week.
That's true. That's true.
Exactly.
We'll see in July if that kind of shenanigan happens again. We're gonna have to hold somebody.
And hey, you know, if you're on the fence about if you want to go to the Fountain City Pro, trust me, you could have a large black man put in your lap and be used as an accessory in a match as well.
I'm glad you said a match because that could have gone really bad this time. I really appreciate you. Or you could be one of my daughters yelling at people. I mean, they were giving him the business. I have to give it up to Jessica and Audrey. They were straight giving them the business.
Ray Leone had a match. They were all up in his face.
A lot of shirts because they like them.
It's ironic. Fowler, they were all up in Fowler's face. Who was it they were really tearing into though? I can't remember. Was it Guthrie?
Yeah, they were going after Guthrie pretty hard.
Jovi. It was Jovi.
Jovi was the worst. Yeah, they were all
really
over
getting
Jovi.
at Jovi.
Folks, raise your kids right. Make sure that they heckle heels. That's all that matters because they want to get the heat from the heel. You know, and honestly, it's like they're a part of the show because Anaya also gave Audrey right before his show his little black bandana. And she was sitting down, and
her favorite, by the way.
Yes, by far. Like he's number 2 on our list. He's number 2 though, because Heidi's number 1. And literally, he gives her this thing, and then he turns heel on Mighty Micah, comes running over, steals his bandana back from her, and runs away. It was a glorious moment. She cried for hours on end.
Yeah. Take your kids to pro wrestling and encourage them to yell at the bad guys because that's the best part of pro wrestling. That's what makes this the most magical form of live entertainment. You can't go to Broadway and just sit there and talk shit from the crowd at the people acting on stage. That's not polite and civilized society. You go to a pro wrestling show, you can just yell shit at folks.
It's part of the course.
It's not like you're going to go, take your shot. You said you're going to take your shot. Take your shot. Sorry. For any Hamilton fans.
Speaking of yelling at folks, that's a good segue because, again, we don't have anything. It's just going to be in July is the next Found City show. We'll keep you guys updated. Make sure to follow their socials. Links are down below. But if you want something to tide you over, one of the members, one of the participating talents that was there this past Friday, Miss Heidi Howitzer, she has almost the perfect match set up for her next show.
Yeah, DOA out in Portland, Oregon has finally, and you know what? Longtime listeners of the show, I assume, have to be, because I feel like we're the ones who started this, of one Heidi Howitzer going against Matt Brannigan.
I think you brought it up when we interviewed Matt the first time.
Sure did.
They've been trying to make that happen for a very long time,
And
it is finally happening.
Don't take this from me. It was us. It was JJ and I the whole time.
Oh, I didn't say they started it. I'm just saying they have been angling to get that match done for a long time, and it is finally happening at DOA Pro Wrestling. They are running back-to-back shows that was it second? It's the 8th and the 9th, I believe, in June. I should know the dates because I will also be there. Stepping into the ring in the Pacific Northwest for the first time for DOA Wrestling.
Oh.
Visiting the Pacific Northwest for the first time. Going to try and find Bigfoot while I'm out there. I'll keep you all updated on that front. But yeah, Heidi Howitzer and Matt Brannigan. If you are unfamiliar with Matt Brannigan, the male version of Heidi Howitzer when it comes to talking shit and promos on the internet. So it'll probably be light on the wrestling, heavy on the shit talking, and comedy spots. It'll be a great time.
It's literally the Pam meme from The Office. You put a picture of both of the. It's the same person. It's the same picture. I mean, it's what it is.
Yeah, and obviously, we've had a delightful interview with him, and you should definitely look back and watch that. But those two, they are lightning in a bottle together, and I cannot wait to see what happens. Now, do you know anything about your match? Has your match been announced? Can you give a spoiler or anything like that?
I know absolutely nothing about who I'm wrestling. I just know I am wrestling on both shows.
Nice.
Well, he's going to be wrestling, folks. So,
question though,
out there in the Pacific Northwest, make sure to get tickets for that.
So I got a question. So you're going to be out in Oregon, right? Yeah, are you guys going to make it a point to go to Astoria?
Go see the Goonies house.
I would say I don't know what Astoria is.
The Goonies.
Goonies.
Bruh, I haven't seen the Goonies in like 20 years. For whatever reason, that's a nostalgia blind spot for me. I might be like just because I am slightly younger than the two of y'all. I might be in like that in between where like just past when I would have watched it all the time as a kid, but where I would have saw it like once because my mom would have been like, "Oh yeah, I remember this. Watch this." Yeah, I'll have to give that a rewatch soon because I have not seen the Goonies in like 20 years.
It's amazing. Still is. JJ, back me up on this.
You've seen my car, right, Austin? You guys, you know what I drive. I have a Goonies themed personalized plate on my car.
I don't think I've actually seen that, but that's rad.
Yes.
I've heard nothing but good things about the Goonies. There's weird movies that for whatever reason, like I have just not got around to watching as an adult, or I saw them once as a kid. You want to know another movie? One movie I've actually never seen? Any of the Godfathers.
Oh, really? Huh, interesting.
Just none of them. Just for whatever reason, like when I'm scrolling for shit to watch, we're watching like Your Highness or Grandma's Boy for the 15th time. And I never think like, hey, let's put on The Godfather because it's widely regarded as like an all-time great movie. No, we're going to watch some like sword and sorcery 80s movies instead because we prefer lowbrow entertainment.
Yeah. I think if you don't remember, you'll like the Goonies. There is, the only thing I'll say to it, there is some 80s-ness to it, right? If you go back and watch stuff from the 80s, there's a little kitschiness to it, and a couple of plot things that are like, wait, what? It's just the 80s. Just fine. Just remember, it's the 80s. It's cool. It's good. It's a fantastic movie. Oh, the Goonies.
I think the other thing with the Goonies too is like I never see it pop up when I'm scrolling through the streaming services. Like I'm sure it's got to be on one of them, but I never see it pop up in like the recommendations or anything. So it's like never top of mind when I'm scrolling through for something to watch.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm gonna make that maybe this weekend.
You can watch it on Amazon Prime. You can watch it on Philo. It is up on Sling TV and YouTube Premium subscription, but you can definitely get it through Amazon Prime.
So Prime is who's got the rights for it then, basically.
There you go.
All right. I might do that this weekend. I might have to throw on the Goonies.
And then not to quote, actually, I'm totally gonna quote Jon Stewart from Half Baked. Have you ever watched it on weed? Yeah.
See, half baked. I've seen that at least a dozen times.
So yeah, you get that
even better if he said Astoria and you go, why? So I can watch So is there something about Kindergarten Cop there? Because that took place in Astoria, Oregon, as well. I don't know why Astoria, Oregon was a thing in the 80s, but it was.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
You are mine now. You belong to me.
He's not a tumor. Low key, that might be Arnold's greatest word.
There's a streamer. We'll get to wrestling, I swear, in a minute. I swear to God, we're going to get back to wrestling in a minute, guys. So there's a streamer on Twitch that I follow, and every other Friday they do a watch along in their Discord. Right? It's a nice community. I like enjoy watching it, having it on the background. So I've gotten involved, and I've joined in on some of the Friday night movies. Right? And you can redeem a movie using your channel points. As in somebody redeemed Kindergarten Cop because the streamer had never seen it. So we have a bunch of us like 40-year-old guys that are in there, and we're just like throwing in the chat like all the for the week up to it, like all the references and not getting one of them. And then watch the movie and goes, I know exactly what you guys have been talking about, and you're annoying as hell. And like, yes, we are. It's fantastic.
I mean, Dynamite was great and be fine to talk about, but we could just start riffing off old Arnold movies for the next hour and a half or so.
Dude, you know I can. I got it. I have the ability to do that the whole time. Do you want okay. All right, fine. How many Arnold Schwarzenegger movie quotes would you like from here to the end?
Heather, we're going to let Heather decide. Heather, throw a number in chat.
Yeah, hop in the chat, Heather. Let us know how many Arnold quotes Jamie needs to get in.
Your feelings are very confused. I mean, I feel like Jamie could do a 20-minute discourse on twins alone.
It's because of that movie. I said nuke for the longest time whenever I was using the microwave when nuke something.
All right, you got a number, 12 is what,
12?
Heather.
Let's fucking go. All right.
Can't count any that happened before this either.
Yeah, it's fresh from now until the end.
All right. So,
all right.
AOA Wrestling, is it Portland, Oregon, or is it in Eugene? Where's it? Bend? Where's it at?
It is in Portland. There's two shows back to back. One is in Portland and one is in another place that I believe is right outside of Portland, like Portland adjacent.
Oh, it's probably
but again,
suburbs.
I've never been to the Pacific Northwest, so I could be completely wrong.
Okay, what you don't know the name of this other place, do you?
No idea, but it is on the internet. Look up DOA Pro Wrestling on Twitter,
roughly
Instagram.
The greater Portland area, we think. Definitely. I mean, we can't make it out naturally. Jamie and I can't make it out that far, unfortunately. But we're gonna try and find a way because Matt Brannigan, Heidi Howitzer, yes, please, let's go. All right, we'll talk about some Dynamite
I got one
tonight,
in there.
boys.
I don't know if you guys heard that. I got one. I already did Boris and Doris.
I was about to say I didn't catch it. I didn't even realize you had said something while we were trying to figure out where Portland was, where I was anyway. I know it's in Oregon.
All right, so it's turbo time, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit of AEW Dynamite. And here we go. Let's start it off with Jeff Cobb. He said, I'll be back. And you know what? He was. And he came back right on in here. And he tagged up with his former friend and also Alliance member, Kyle Fletcher, going up against John Moxley, and Bryan Danielson. And this thing started off with a bang right from the jump, gents.
I mean, they pulled the New Jack treatment out again in the best way possible. I like. First time they did it, I was like, I know what they're getting in it. I was like, okay, whatever. Then they did it again for the second time they had that same match, and I'm like, all right, you're kind of. I like just the randomness of like, no, we're just gonna randomly do the New Jack thing here. I loved it. I loved the start of it. I thought it was great. You know, you gotta have, because you're in Washington. You're gonna have Bryan Danielson. He's gonna get the major pop. So why not just put him into a total fight? It was fantastic.
Yeah, like it was just a real fun, hot start to the show. Certainly a much better way to start the show than a 45-minute long promo segment that went nowhere. Looking at you, Raw, after WrestleMania. But yeah, any day you can not only kick off the show with a match, but also have them just start brawling. Is like, imagine you were just sticking around after the Big Bang Theory because you watched that show for some reason. And then you just see these dudes just start beating the shit out of each other while Flight of the Valkyries is playing in the background. Like, why wouldn't you stick around for a little while and see where the rest of the show goes? It was phenomenal.
Yeah, so this match was just utter chaos. It ends up with Moxley winning by Death Rider on Kyle Fletcher, but then of course Takeshita and everybody come out, and then here comes Claudio with a crowbar. He's like, "Come with me if you want to live," and he's just right there and just getting after it. And even the odds with the Don Callis family, but this definitely feels like we are going to see some serious mayhem in some way, shape, or form at Double or Nothing.
Well, I mean, and remember, their next pay-per-view after Double or Nothing is Forbidden Door. So I think a lot of the stuff here when we're talking about, what to expect on Double or Nothing and post Double or Nothing, returns, reveals, all that stuff. I think you gotta consider that into effect too, because they got a plan for the next pay-per-view. Like I said, is Forbidden Door. So Takeshita versus Mox at Forbidden Door. You can pretty much book it right now.
They did mention that Takeshita has his eyes on the IWGP Heavyweight title. I'm wondering if they save that for Forbidden Door, if they throw that on a Double or Nothing as well, or if we get some kind of tag with Mox and Claudio against some representatives from the Callis family. Either way, it'll be good. You really can't go wrong with any of the talent involved in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how they are going to do this is it's going to be a win-win, honestly. Like if I get in Double or Nothing, win. If just those two. If I get on Forbidden Door, win. I feel like either way we are set up for success as fans. Now, I would prefer some kind of tag match personally, Double or Nothing, and you save that for Forbidden Door.
That's what I said too.
You want to get that. You definitely want to get that to the chopper.
You don't need another.
And
you don't need another like marquee buy worthy thing for Double or Nothing. You got Mercedes Moné's debut match. You got the Anarchy in the Arena. You got Swerve versus Chris. I mean, you've got enough headline stuff there. You don't need to put another one on there.
I'm up to 4 guys.
Yeah, I think some kind of tag would be good. I do want to make a quick note about the Claudia run-in. One of the things I absolutely love in pro wrestling is a guy running out with a weapon he clearly just found lying around in the arena back on his way out. Because there's no way he was sitting there all afternoon like, all right, I'm going to do my run-in with this big crowbar. No, he was getting ready to hit the ring. He saw that laying against the wall somewhere. Was like, I'm taking this to the ring with me. And it's great. I love non-traditional weapons in pro wrestling. Just something you have lying around to go out there and beat someone's ass with.
Rio with a pipe as big as her.
One day we'll have Riho back. I think there's some visa issues or something right now, but one day, once the elites get a little too big for their britches and someone's got to bring them back down to earth, we'll get Riho in the pipe.
Dude, yeah. I can't wait, honestly, when she comes back with that. All right, so quick video package on Swerve. Just talking about he's got the huge target on his back, yada yada, and then him and Christian Cage. We'll get into that. We're gonna put a pin in that because honestly, that was a very entertaining thing. Then how about the whole Adam Copeland, Malachi Black shenanigans? Like, honestly, it has that vibe of like Malachi's like saying, how I kill you last, I lied. Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting out of this for sure.
I love this. I knew I would like Malachi versus Copland. The fact that Copland's been going through this kind of troubles, and then he has the whole, like, he had the mist at the last pay-per-view, so now he's kind of like all darkish, right? But not really, and I like how they keep the continuity with it. Willow went through that when she got sprayed. Sky, of course. And shout out to Sky Blue. I know we tease her a lot, but she busts her butt to not have some creep in the crowd, try to belittle her.
Yeah, like I jest and call her Sky Bluety because like she's developed a character and she's worked her ass off, and she's not just an article of
just a sex figure. But yeah, I just want to.
And some asshole to do that. Like, dude, there's just too much. Like, you can be critical of somebody's wrestling. You don't have to be like a fucking perv. Sorry.
So I do like how they keep the continuity with the mist. It keeps it good, keeps it going, keeps it relevant. And he comes out on Collision and says that he wants to do a barbed wire steel cage match against Malachi Black. And JJ instantly just goes, "Excuse me, hello, yes, am I aroused now? My nipples hard because yes, barbed wire steel cage." But the fact that the way that they came out and did this whole segment, it was short. I loved it so much, and it has nothing to do with the title at all, which I don't know if I love or not, right? But he comes out. They jump him, of course, naturally, the whole House of Black. Malachi's getting good heat, which I love to see. And they even tell him to shut up, and he goes, "Oh, you're going to love what I do next." Great little fourth wall dig. Goes in and says, "We're going to take his ring," So, obviously, that means Beth Phoenix making an appearance sometime soon. I would hope.
Think so?
I don't know. What do you think, Austin?
So I have loved everything with this Copland and House of Black angle, except for this. And I don't think it was necessarily bad. The stealing the ring and then the when you lose to me, you're gonna bend the knee at House of Black and all that. I mean, they just did that with FTR a couple months ago. Like, you got to join House of Black. One, it falls flat for me for a couple reasons. The biggest is it's kind of hard to make "you've got to join the House of Black" seem like a bad thing when the House of Black is just so damn cool. Like, why would Edge, like, why is that a really bad result? To go hang out with the super dope wrestlers who kind of fit your vibe and aesthetic anyway. And then more importantly, to your point, JJ, the title seems like an afterthought. And let's talk about titles for a minute, if I can drop some knowledge on
titles, if you would. I could use some knowledge on titles, for real.
Stash of knowledge.
A common knock on AEW, and it's just a joke people like to go to, is that AEW has too many titles. But if we were to really look at it, you've got your World Championship, you got your TNT Championship, you've got the Continental, and you've got the International. You got 4 men's singles titles. If you look over at WWE, you have a WWE Championship, a World Heavyweight Championship, a US Championship, an Intercontinental Championship. You've got 4 singles titles. AEW has 2 women's singles titles. WWE has 2 women's singles titles. AEW has tag titles and trios titles. WWE has tag titles and women's tag titles. They've got the same amount of titles for the same amount of hours of programming throughout the week. not only that, AEW, because if you're not counting NXT, which is a separate brand with its own titles, AEW actually has less titles per hour than WWE does. And not only do they have too many titles, or not only do they not have too many titles, leading into Double or Nothing, there is a really cool story for every one of those singles titles in AEW. You get something cool for people to fight over, and we're getting different stories. And like I said, this segment got a little kind of soap opera-ish for me. Mm-hmm. But if that's what you're into, cool. There's a title picture that has that for you. You've got kind of a more of an old school pro wrestling feud going over the world title right now with Swerve and Christian, which we'll get into in a bit. You've got a really dope match coming up with Ospreay and Roddy Strong that is about a title that will hopefully be getting defended internationally, since it's the international title once we come out of Double or Nothing. Spoiler alert, because we all know who's winning that match. And then you have another title that was defended in the main event tonight by one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet and a tag team guy who is also real phenomenal at this shit. So my stash of knowledge and really just plea to the wrestling community is, can we please stop with the AEW has too many titles? There is something cool going on with all of their titles, except for the trios, which I will give you probably shouldn't exist anymore, but we've talked about that quite a bit.
Touche.
Well, come with me if you want to live in the world that has too many titles. And that, my friend, is not AEW. That is 100% WWE. I guess
you just never really think about it that way, because they have like the brand split. So it forces you to kind of like thinking a little bit different of a limelight. But yeah, you're 100% right. You and all three, you two, Rob said the same thing in chat as well. Yeah.
But even with the brand split coming up at their next paper, the Saudi Arabia Queen and King of the Ring, Cody Rhodes, your WWE Universal Champion or whatever they're calling this day, is literally wrestling the U.S. Champion in a title versus title match. You are just having the champions wrestle each other for some reason, even though you have an entire roster of people that could be challenging for a title. It is silly.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the Saudi show. I got a lot of stuff. Jamie, what do you think though about Copland? Did you like this? Do you think we're going to see a Beth Phoenix? Because to me, maybe it's just me wanting to see Beth Phoenix. I'm just like trying to talk into existence. Do you think there's any heat to my flames here, or is this just an interesting kind of like mental trick that Malachi's doing? What do you think?
I 100% believe that you are trying to will Beth Phoenix into existence.
I want to see her in AEW so bad.
I get that.
Such a good story, though. God, it'd be great.
I know, and I do love how Malachi, is, what a pain in the neck he is to Copland. It's just really, really solid. I like what they're doing. Is it a little bit too drawn out? Maybe, but honestly, when it comes to Malachi, like, I don't care. Like, I'm just in. Like, it's what the Judgment Day wished they could be, to Heather's point earlier. Like,
yeah. Absolutely. And I will always be down, as JJ said earlier, I will always be down for a barbed wire steel cage match. As I have mentioned in the past on the show, escaping the cage is one of the dumbest things in the world to me. And so let's wrap the top of that bitch in barbed wire so you can't escape. No one can get in. That's the point of a cage match. You got to fight inside the cage. Good luck getting over the top. It's covered in barbed wire.
I mean, better doing this than a Chamber of Horrors match, or something like that.
Hey, we will not besmirch the Chamber of Horrors match on this show.
I know you have a special.
Abdullah the Butcher did not die in that electric chair for you to talk shit about that masterpiece.
I mean, I will give Abdullah the Butcher the credit for that sell, especially. And then just sitting there, it helped he had color too going on, and just was like, it was fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, and do you think Copland, when he's in that match and he finally gets Malachi to bleed, do you think he's gonna be like, If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah, you're trying to like work them in, Jamie. You're just like, bam.
I don't know. I've worked some solid ones in there.
You worked some
Like-
solid ones in there.
I mean, I gotta give the crowd pleasers too, guys. Like, I can't just
I hear you.
Kid-
I hear you.
can't just work little ones in there. Like, I mean, I haven't even hit my Conan one yet, so you guys got time.
Let's keep this
only
train
3.
rolling.
He used the same. I have not used any of them twice since we've been counting. I'm up to 7. I even did "Come With Me if you want to live," but I didn't "Come With Me if you want to live in the world of too many belts." Like, that was a very solid segue, guys. Like, you couldn't, like, it was just very integrated. Only 3.
He's up there. I got 8 right now. All right, let's keep going.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna put the cookie down. All right, so let's move on. Kyle O'Reilly makes the save. How do you guys? How did you feel about that part of the Kyle O'Reilly? Like, square peg round hole, or is it just because he's gonna get a title shot?
You got to keep him involved in some storyline, so that's what they're doing.
So I had an interesting thought during that. What if at Double or Nothing we end up getting Kyle O'Reilly joining the House of Black?
Ooh. I mean,
I think
it makes
it's
the most
something-
sense, but I think it's a better thing for him to do than just to be the tag along to Adam Copland.
And I think Kyle O'Reilly, like the biggest kind of knock on him, you're kind of just missing a little bit of personality there. I think he's a good. I think he fits with them. Like, his style in the ring definitely fits with them, and I kind of like the one guy that's like fits in the ring, but like doesn't quite fit the vibe. Like, trying to make up and like, or trying to keep up and be with it. Like, I think it could work.
Yeah. But I don't. I would love to see it happen. I just don't think it will. I
don't
think
know, what else do you do with Kyle O'Reilly?
as long as it's not Cool Kyle, I do not care. Because NXT Cool Kyle was literally the worst thing I think I've ever seen, and I've watched Last Action Hero.
Cool Kyle.
I'm not going as far as to make the Mark Stradamus prediction on it, but I could see, just, and only because he's still ran out to make the save tonight. Like, I feel like if he doesn't still have a role in this story going forward, running out to try and make the save, then just getting beat up about it anyway, like, why? But I feel like he's still going to be involved in this when we get to that cage match.
I'm good. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, preach, Heather. It's like, I'm down with my kids. He's like the kids nowadays. What's up, brother? Like,
How do you do, fellow kids?
Tuesday. Yeah, that's Cool Kyle right now. All right. So after this, he had a quick little Elite explains why they attacked our friend, our savior, if you will, and Eddie Kingston at Resurgence. Eddie is legit hurt. Like, that's a legit thing. So
Yeah.
he is not going to be at
Double or Nothing.
the Pape. Yeah.
He's out, and they sold it as they're the ones who did it, even though he got hurt during the match. But potato, right? Again, like we've all beaten this dead horse. Everything that the Elite's doing right now is just more sprinkles and icing on top of that cake. So, yeah.
I do gotta say, and we'll get to when we get to the end of the show, the replacement for one Eddie Kingston. I do feel like losing him in that match does take away from it a bit, because, like,
I agree.
I was super hyped for Eddie Kingston, specifically in Anarchy in the Arena. I mean, I'm hyped for anything Eddie Kingston does.
Yeah,
but that is a hit to that match, not having Eddie out there in just a wild arena brawl.
Well, we could put a pin in that because FTR came on immediately after and did a promo where they're like, firing back at the Young Bucks and the Elite and all that, and they say we got some things we're working. We'll let you guys know it's not going to be 3-on-4. We're not going to forfeit. They'll have a fourth, right? Presumably, we'll find out sometime soon, but they didn't give any timeline. Spoiler: we found out tonight. We'll let you know.
Yes, we will let you know. And that person has seen Crom. Dude, I'm just 12's a lot, man. Like it's hard for me to like.
You're trying to get through it as fast as you can. Too, I can tell.
I mean, I'm officially at 10, so I can kind of slow down.
I got 10. I caught them all.
Okay, I could slow down if I want.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I might save one for the very, very end.
There's no penalty for going over. Okay.
Hey, yeah, 12's the bare minimum. Do you just want to do the bare minimum?
Oh, now we're mixing movies. All right.
I knew you'd catch that.
See, JJ's got 27 pieces of flair.
So I need to have more. No, I'm not saying you need to have more. All right.
So Matt Sydal and CD Christopher Daniels had a tag team match against Matthew and Nicholas. Matthew and Nicholas, of course, win. But that's not how it ended, gents. And how do you feel about the whole angle of firing Christopher Daniels?
Classic, awesome pro wrestling storytelling. Like we've said, the Bucks just shitty EVP thing has been great, but what an awesome wrinkle to throw in that of them publicly firing someone largely beloved by the entire pro wrestling community.
Yeah.
And then having him escorted out of the building immediately after. But then throwing in don't worry, you get a 30-day severance. We'll get you taken care of. You're doing great. Get him out of here.
Great severance package. Pay for the next 30 days. Right. And, it's interesting because they even hinted at he has the back room, behind the curtain rolls and all that stuff, and it's been long said for a while that he knows that he's at the end, right? Is why he wanted to kind of do one final run of some different shows and different things. He has some indies that, different places he wanted to wrestle because he knows that he's done wrestling, right? So good way to transition him out. I'm 1,000%. For those of you think that Christopher Daniels is going to be an unemployment line first thing Monday morning, I got news for you. He still works for AEW.
So we're not going to consider that a divorce?
What do you mean?
Like, you think it's a work?
I think the reality is that he really is still working for AEW and talent relations and stuff. Yes.
Oh, so you think it's a work?
Yes.
Everything's a work. Of course it's a work.
Real quick aside, when we're talking about older wrestling or older wrestlers, a fun fact I saw on the internet in the last week or two. Billy Gunn is the same age that Gorilla Monsoon was when he came back to be the president of WWE 96.
Billy Gunn is
he is eternal.
Is a defying the laws of nature, and like it is not even fair the type of shape that Billy Gunn is in.
Just want to throw that out there as a quick aside because that blew my mind when I heard it.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. That is a great. That's a stash of knowledge in itself. Because
he's in his 60s, right?
I think he's 58, somewhere between 58 and 60. He's up there.
That's just insane. Oh.
And then also, really quick, before we move on from this tag match, just a quick shout out to Jungle Boy on commentary.
Oh, yes. Golf clap for sure.
Phenomenal.
The pouring of the liquid on top of Tony Schiavone's head. Yeah, that was
drink,
Chef
nerd.
Kiss. Yeah. Oh my
you
goodness.
Dweeb. He called him you dweeb, I think. But what? Okay, so that gives me a broader question for both of you gentlemen. Then we loved the reintroduction. We loved what Jack Perry's done with himself. We liked how they turned the whole CM Punk thing and made it about Jack Perry for their own benefit. 60 in November. Thank you, Heather. Billy Gunn's 60 in November. Crazy. But all that aside, since that time and what they've been doing, this commentary is a good part to throw in there. What do you feel like? How do you feel like they using? How do you think they are? How effective do you think they are in using Jungle Boy or Jack Perry in this new capacity?
Jungle Man.
Jungle Man.
He has grown up. I think it's been great. Like they are presenting him as an equal to the Bucks and Okada.
Mm-hmm.
They also haven't thrown him out there in front of us to be like immediately in a title picture or wrestling every week to not overdo it, which I feel is perfect, to kind of ease it into it, because eventually he's going to be in that top line for sure.
Yeah, and I like that they're leading up to Anarchy in the Arena, but they're not just rushing him into a program with anyone in particular. He's just there running the show with the elite, and it makes him seem like more of a star. And he's done his part in presenting himself that way as well. Like, who would have thought 8 months ago, whenever it was that All In happened, when we were just starting to come around on, he just turned heel, let's see where this goes. Who would have thought at this point in 2024 we would be here with Jack Perry?
Not Jamie, that's for sure.
Oh hell no. Oh hell no. Absolutely not, dude. Like, I ain't too proud. I mean, I was wrong. I'm glad that I'm wrong, actually, because this is amazing. Like, he is out there just like, let's kick some ice, guys. Like, he is just.
Bless you for getting a Batman and Robin.
To get a Batman and Robin
on that.
Of course I did. Duh, guys.
Oh my god. The Batman
officially a
fanatic,
12.
the Batman fanatic in me is just cringing thinking about the terribleness of that movie. Oh my god.
At least I didn't do Cool Off, right?
That is unironically my favorite Batman movie. It's
the nipples.
It's so unserious, which I enjoy in entertainment. Like, I understand why everyone talks about how Batman and Robin was terrible, but to me, that's the best Batman movie because it's
all right. Side note: if you
just
really
ridiculous.
want to split hairs with it, it's the closest any cinematic outside of Adam West, because we're not. That to me, it's in its own world, because that's Adam West, right? It's the closest any movie has been truthful to the Golden Age comics. I mean, Batman pulled out a Batman credit card issued to Batman. Like, wait, what? And just some of the overtopness of it, if you go back.
I mean, Heather hit the nail right on the head. It's Joel Schumacher. Like, there you go.
For sure. And thematically, according to the comics, yes, Dark Knight and the Batman are the two closest. We're looking at specific story arcs. But if you want to go back to like the classic, over the topness of the golden age of comics, then this is probably the closest to it. I will give you that. It's still horrendous. And kudos to you for at least wedging that in there, Jamie.
So Rob did ask, was it ever true at some point if Jack Perry wanted to be released? The answer is no. He never wanted to be released. He was just suspended, and he's homeboys with the Bucks. So that they were instantly trying to work on Angle. And as soon as CM pumps, whatever. He's gone. And yeah, so it all worked out. He got better and he made a bigger name for himself by going away. It's the best thing that could ever happen to him.
And that's
Going
the beauty
to
of the
New
relationship they
Japan.
have, because they're able
That's
to
it.
send, because Tony can send wrestlers over there, right? He's to pull some of them back. He sent Megan Bain over there, God knows how long ago. She's still getting paid by AEW, and why, but he sent him. They have that talent exchange where they can, so he sent Jack over there, and it was the best thing for him.
But before we move on, Heather, you do not say disparaging words about the Lost Boys. That movie's off limits. I love that movie.
It's so good.
I know that, and I can't stand that movie.
It's so good. Blessed good,
so
dude.
good.
I never got into it, man. It's just like, okay, whatever,
Read horror comics. It's not. We believe in truth, justice, and the American way. So it's so cheesy, man.
That's two 80s classics that I just don't care about. Actually, no, 3, because I hate The Breakfast Club, hate it with a passion. And Big Trouble in Little China, never understood why people like that movie.
Oh, I like Big Trouble in Little China.
See,
JB's fire is burning because he.
I'm a John Carpenter guy through and through.
I know
man.
you are. But one of my closest friends from college is his favorite movie outside of original Halloween, right?
Oh, from John Carpenter? Okay, so that's like top.
No, in general.
Oh, John Carpenter, it's top 4.
His like 2 favorite movies are the original Halloween and then
Heather got it.
And then Big Trouble in Little China. A lot of people do. And I've tried. He's got all special. Every time he gets like a new, back when we were buying DVDs, he always would try to get me to watch it. And I would watch it. I'd be like, cool. Nah, not for me. Just never got it. Sorry.
Don't like Casey's Pizza, and now you don't like Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
How long do you have this poll going for, by the way? Oh, there we go. Just ended. Jesus Christ.
I just ended it.
You put a timer on that? You can put timers on those.
No. I am writing a new one though right now. All right. So while I do that,
all right, let's
go ahead and move on to the next segment here, which was an amazing interview of timeless Tony Storm with her, Luther, and of course with Mariah May. And it had to happen because her maternal instincts and her ovaries had to be heard. And
her ovaries,
my God, dude, treasure. There's nothing like what she is doing is the Lord's work. That's all there is to it.
There's never a dip. There's never a week where it just doesn't hit. It's always great every time she's in front of the camera.
And it might just be a single quotable that she pulls out, but every one of those is gold. You compile all that together. Oh my God, the tape you would have. It's going to be fantastic.
And the delivery is always perfect.
I am so happy Luther is in a Renaissance, Heather, because Luther was an underrated guy. Nobody really knew of his background, right? Because he was a deathmatch wrestler, It really didn't make sense for him to be in AEW. And the way he was brought in was really weird. Remember he was brought in with Awesome Kong and that weird thing with what's her face, the bald chick, and then that didn't go over well. It was just very weird. And him and Serpentico was fine, but it was just kind of a weird parent. It is good for him to actually be getting some flowers because, he does have such a storied past. So I'm happy for Luther.
See, once again, Heather, of course, gets like 8,000 brownie points from me all the time because John Carpenter. She's a John Carpenter girl too. See,
it's
like
fine. It's fine. I'm sorry. It's okay. I don't like Lost Boys.
Number 1 from him is Halloween. Number 2 is The Thing. Number 3 ooh, that's where it gets a little dicey because he's got some great movies. But I'm probably gonna say Big Trouble in Little China. I think that might be number 3 for me. Low key, I'm a big vampires guy too. I know some people really don't like vampires, but
I was about to name drop vampires because that might be my favorite John Carpenter movie.
See, like it's one of those ones that you don't expect it to be really good, and then here comes, just James Woods. It's like, oh, okay, let's go. Like, dude. Or, I don't know, Escape from New York. Come on now. Dude, I can just keep going. See, she just put up there. See? Like,
Escape
come
from New
on
York
now.
is great. Escape from LA is so disappointing. I can't believe they.
See? Like, God, we could just go on. See, like, next week, I'll do John Carpenter movie. I will quote John Carpenter's, and we'll get to around 20 or
Can
so.
we go back to that conversation we had on Twitter a few weeks back, Austin? The perfect albums, the album No Skips. I could do that all night long. Let's do that.
Yeah,
that'd be more in my lane.
I didn't until recently. I didn't see that you followed back up. You threw the toadies out there. That album is so good. Actually,
man, I went back years ago. We were living in Houston. They were doing the 20th anniversary tour of Rubberneck. The Toadies album.
All Toadies is good.
And man,
first of all, make sure you're following them wherever you're listening to your stuff. But Rubberneck is there.
Rubberneck is, for me, one of the absolute best albums of the 90s. Is Toadies Rubberneck.
I wouldn't say of the 90s.
It could be of all time. Like, it's up there for sure. But
is it amazing?
Man, they did a tour where they just played Rubberneck front to back, and I've seen the Toadies live like 6 or 7 times because they tour around Texas all the time when I was down there. Man,
they're from Austin.
If you ever get a chance, if they're coming through your neck of the woods, go see the Toadies. Phenomenal show.
They're still out there. Oh God, I actually was listening to on my way to and from Fountain City. I had on Spotify the Toadies radio. So it was Toadies and a bunch of other random 90s stuff. It was okay. All right, sorry. Let's get back to wrestling.
Yeah, but first, the poll right now is heavily in favor of shaming you. So.
Oh, we have another poll out here again?
Absolutely, we do.
Yeah, whether or not you should be shamed for not liking Big Trouble in Little China.
It's obviously
you can shame me all you want. It's not going to change my opinion of that, okay?
It should. All right, so we already talked about Malachi, so he just added the little extra thing, like if Adam Copeland loses, he should bend the knee, which I think is a great little stipulation. All right, so then we had
big return.
Okay, so we're back to Dud City a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie. And it's not, I hate to say it's not because of Jericho this time, guys. Because Jericho, like what he did, I'm gonna get into that. But you had Hook going up against Sebastian Wolf and Wolf. Yeah, that was a short little squash match for a guy who was 30 pounds lighter and about 4 inches shorter. But hey, whatevs.
I went
whatever you can do to make them look stronger.
I missed the entire match, literally.
And you did not miss much.
Yeah, you didn't really miss anything. It was the same hook squash we've seen 85 times over the last couple of years.
It's like I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob. Like that's the kind of vibe I got from it. But so he calls out Chris Jericho. Of course, Jericho comes out there with Large William. And they're there, they're talking, and he's like, "I want a shot at the FTW title." And Jericho's like, "Hey, I'm just out here, and I just enjoy to sharing the spotlight with anybody." Like he was totally calling himself out for all the stuff that people have been calling him out for, and like the crowd is even like, "You should retire." He's like, if I were retired, I'd be in every Hall of Fame and all this stuff, and like turning everything into a positive. And it's just like, I love this non-self-aware Jericho now.
He's come around, Austin.
But the fact that he's still on every damn week is still the piece that's getting at me.
That's annoying.
But I am enjoying what he's doing. And then they're trying to set up the FTW championship of Hook and him, maybe because Shibata came out, made the save. There was some talking in the back where Shibata still wants... to get after Jericho as well. And then here comes Joe just pining in there like, dude, Jericho's got
Save
you
the
guys
Joe thing.
going
We'll talk
after
about
each
the Joe
other.
thing in a second. Okay, I want to put a pin
Okay.
in Joe. Okay.
Okay,
So
we'll
let's
put
just
pin in
save
Joe.
that.
Okay. Go.
He's come around, Austin. He's on the Jericho train, the learning tree train.
Because Jericho is Chris Jericho again.
Yes.
The problem wasn't necessarily that he was on TV every week. It was that he was bad every week on TV. It was just not interesting, and it was getting kind of sad. But boy, on a dime, did he just turn right back, and now it's just Chris Jericho again. And if I'm getting the actual Chris Jericho that entertained the shit out of us for the better part of 3 decades, I'm cool with seeing him on my TV, especially a little shorter segment like this.
Yeah.
What a turnaround.
You get 3-4 minutes of Jericho. He's going to be on your TV no matter what, right? He's going to find a way to put himself, because he's got too much control. He's going to put himself on TV. Fine. 3 or 4 minutes like this, where he's not in a match. He has a fake title, because the FTW is technically just, it's a whatever, right? You know, it's a fake title that he's clamoring to. It's putting Bill over. It's trying to put Hook over. We need to jump ship on that course. Let him sail.
It's not ever getting over.
Never getting over.
He wants to go to WWE. They want to have him apparently. So I think that's a fantastic idea for everybody involved.
Stop trying to make Hook happen.
For all of us.
Although,
That
did anyone
word,
else
I don't think it means what you think it means.
Did anyone else think Hook's looking a little bit thicker than he was like 3 weeks ago when he got beat up and left? Like
he is. He lost a
Has he
couple
been-
labs.
Has he been like in Brian Cage's gear bag or something? Because he looked like he's put a little size on him.
He's chewing up the wrong powder. All right, let's pick a pen out because I do want to talk about Joe.
Okay.
Of all this, I like the Jericho part just like you guys, but I like the Joe part by far the most. Here's why. I agree with everybody and every statement that's been said here. Stop trying to make Hook happen. But I like having Joe involved in things in front of my eyes. And he comes out and talking to him and Shibata in his collective, you're falling for Jericho's bullshit. I had so much more faith in you guys. He's all of a sudden become what we know he is in real life, which is the voice of reason and experience behind the curtain, right, to these guys. And he's bringing that out in a very Joe-esque way, right? You're not just putting Joe out there against Jericho, which is the first thing you would think to do, right? And I hope they don't ever do that, okay? But how are you keeping Joe involved? You said last week, Joe is Joe. Have him come out there and beat up somebody worthy. That's what we need, right? I counterpoint, this is what we need because of Joe's promo work and his stuff back there, right? I don't want to see him like take Hook under his wing, but to be like this like kind of guardian angel of the roster and to have him voice his displeasurement, with people, I loved it. I don't know if it's got any legs to go anywhere, but I really liked that part of the segment because it gave me good Joe again, which I love to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you said I like the Joe part the best, like you could have stopped there and applied that to like any episode of Dynamite he's been on for me. Like I'm always down for Joe, no matter what. Like I was saying last week, he's just kind of like the Jaws of AEW now. He's just kind of lurking. He'll pop up when you don't expect it. Yeah, I don't know where they're going this, but throwing Joe into any story will always work and make it better.
Understatement of the century. Like Joe's Joe. Joe is like, all right, this thing's getting kind of stale. Cool, let's put Joe in there. Okay, and it works. I mean, it's legit easy as that because Joe is just a man among men. Easiest way to put it.
Yeah. We just all
Swerve talking about.
I think like Jamie like froze for a second or something.
Oh, he did. Yeah, because we're all sitting here, and I'm like, This is where you segue, JV. Yeah, you totally froze for a second, JV.
He was building anticipation.
Yes. So right after that, you had a quick Swerve promo about his match against Brian Cage and all the shenanigans there, and talk about how he's ending the chapter of the Mogul Embassy, and he's gonna remind Brian of whose house it is. And I mean, the crowd was 100% behind him, and of course they had their match, and shocker, Swerve won.
It was really good.
It is a really good match too.
The parts I saw were good. I did go and make dinner during this match because I just cannot get into anything Brian Cage is doing. And I almost feel bad saying that because by all accounts, he seems like a likable guy. He's in great shape. He does real cool shit in the ring. I just, it's like JJ with Big Trouble in Little China. Like, I don't get Brian Cage.
Thank you.
And, we knew Swerve was going to win. Of course you're going to get Swerve a match when they're in his neck of the woods, but this just didn't do anything for me. Even though, like I said, the parts of the match I saw were really good, but like it was Brian Cage, man.
As good as the match was, the match wasn't what this was about, JP. It was after the match.
It was 100% about what was after, because here comes our father, the patriarch himself, Christian Cage. But they attack Swerve from behind, and then of course Christian's just talking about how this is because he insulted his son or what do you say, embarrassed his son, just 30 miles away from here in Everett or whatever. And now I'm going to embarrass you. And they made him bleed, and they did the whole thing and talking about how he's going to take his title. I mean, it's typical heel shit.
They didn't just make him bleed. They had a framed with glass picture of him and his daughter, and I think it's just one daughter and his girlfriend. I don't know, but his daughter, yeah. Right? They break that over his face. And no need to cut yourself because he got cut very well with that. The close-up camera shows to him immediately pulling his head off of the mat and having a John Carpenter style blood shoot just going right from his temple. Oh, beautiful.
I completely forgot until you mentioned that Hook busted Jericho open with that mic shot too. Bunch of people getting busted open hard way tonight.
Yeah, he got busted open in the back of his head.
Oh yeah, I totally did forget about that too.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah. But then he, of course, takes the picture and rubs his blood all over the picture of him and his daughter. Christian, we all, one string banjo, I feel like we talk about whenever we're talking about Christian, but it's the best note ever. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's wild that it is 2024 and Christian is in a good story for the AEW World Championship.
Christian is and Edge is, and they're not in the same story.
And going back to when they were blowing off the Christian and Edge story for the TNT title they were doing, that was kind of the thought at the time was where do they really go from here? And right. They've both gone into phenomenal stories from there. And I do think that is one benefit of having those guys that spent a long time in WWE and working some of that type of storytelling into AEW. Like I said earlier, you get something different with kind of every feud and angle you have going on. This is an awesome story to lead to that title match. Now, we all know Christian's not going to win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, but the end result doesn't matter as much when the journey to get you there is this good. My only problem with this entire segment was they kind of made, and again, this is me applying too much logic to an inherently unserious thing like pro wrestling.
Austin.
When Swerve sees Christian and Mama Wayne walk out on the stage without son of Christian and his dinosaur, bro, maybe check your six, maybe keep the head in the swivel a bit. the other two aren't there, they're going to come from behind and beat your ass about it. Like, that's, what's coming. Like, also, there's numbers. Can't we just send him down the ramp and beat him down that way? Like, does it have to be from behind?
Keeping his eyes so he can strike true on his real enemy.
That was my only minor complaint. But yeah, this was great. And just another great beat in that story leading up Double or Nothing.
Couldn't agree more. All right, so after this, I already talked about the Hook Shibata thing. I love how Shibata uses translator. And then I forgot to mention he did make a comment about Samoa Joe wearing a floral pattern because
seems like he's
doesn't really work for him because he's so large. That was absolutely hilarious. All right, so you did have a very quick match. I mean, it did go through at least one. I wouldn't say it's very quick. I apologize. It was a match. Toni Storm versus Harley Cameron. Toni, of course, gets the dub. And honestly, Harley kind of ended up like what she said, flat on her back with an ass in her face. God damn, Toni. Tony's just.
And Serena came out. She was on the ramp the whole time. I don't like the flag thing.
I was going to say the same thing.
The flag,
I don't get it.
Stop with the flag. I don't know. Anyway.
I'm
it's
strong.
Not yet. The flag's not doing anything for anybody. Like, it's like, also, if she's going to come out and just stand on the ramp with the flag the entire time, can't you just go put her on commentary or something? Can we get a little bit more Serena? Build that story a little bit more, not I'm just watching you from afar holding this giant flag for my dojo.
This Serena story is unfortunate for Serena, is really just a placeholder anyway, right? We all know there's no chance that Tony's losing to Serena Deeb at Double or Nothing. What does that mean for the next bet? Now, we've had a lot of overtures sent out there about the return of Jamie Hayter. I think that's the big picture anyway, right? But then again, what's the next on the menu for AEW? It's Forbidden Door. Jimmy's going to roll his eyes at me, but I'm going to throw this out there because here is what I think we'll see happen. And it might not be at Double or Nothing, could be the Dynamite after. But the players involved are going to be Toni Storm, Mariah May, Mina Shirakawa, and Thekla. I think it's Thekla who's going to be the one to go after to fight Toni Storm at Forbidden Door. That's a marquee place to put her. American Honest might not know who Thekla is, and that's a good kind of like excuse to kind of put her on a big card so you can get acclimated. Thekla and Mina are in a feud right now in Stardom, which is connected. And obviously we've seen Stardom women in ROH and in AEW. And Thekla's recent promo last week was that to Mina that she's going to go wherever she is in the world and kill her idols, because that's what she is now. She's the idol killer. Okay? So Mariah gets consulted or gets again met by, she gets beat up by somebody, doesn't matter who. Here comes Mina to pick her. Here also comes Toni Storm then, right, to check on her, but it's Mina is really the one checking on her, and then comes out Thekla to destroy Mina, which includes Mariah, which angers Toni. There's your feud for Forbidden Door. I know that's a lot of JJ fan service built into it, but that's my prediction. I'm sticking to it.
I'm on board with all of that, but I would change it slightly. Give me a 4-way match for the title at Forbidden Door with all 4 of them.
Okay.
I would like to see that. I think building up to any one-on-one feud with Toni Storm at this point until you get Jamie Hayter back. I did see a report just earlier today that the status with Jamie Hayter is still, we don't know. I want to say it was Sean Ross Sapp that tweeted that out, that it's what it was when she went out. Like it's undetermined. I think a 4-way at Forbidden Door with the 4 of them would just be a more fun match than just doing a singles with Tony and anybody at this point, because everyone's just so into Timeless Tony Storm as a character. The match and the one-on-one title defenses, they just kind of fall by the wayside. But I think if you throw all of them into a 4-way, you really don't have any allegiance between Mina and Tony here. It's more of a Mina Mariah thing, which Tony's protected Mariah. You've got the underlying story we've been talking about for months now, that eventually you're going to get Mariah and Tony, and throw Thekla into anything. And I'm down for that match.
I mean,
so
that's
like
connection for the Forbidden Door part of it, because you already had Mina in AEW. Thekla, you have it, and boom, Forbidden Door. Jamie, what do you think?
And that match would slap.
Fuck yeah, it would.
It would, but there's one giant flaw in your match design, sir.
Yeah.
A Joshi.
A Joshi or particular one?
Well, who's their ace? It's not Thekla.
My ace is Riho, so like you're asking the wrong guy.
That's fair. Who is Stardom's ace right now since Julia's gone?
Asm?
Shuri.
Oh, Shuri.
Shuri or AZM. Either one.
AZM's already
AZM's been here, but Shuri hasn't. You could do what they probably should do is do some kind of tag match. I think a tag, the title doesn't need to be put up. That's fine. And then tag matches, somebody can eat a pin and it's all good, right? No one really is none the wiser and it's all good. So you put Mariah, maybe you do Mina, Mariah, and Tony up against AZM, Thekla, or Shuri, Thekla, and Starlight Kid. They want to show off their Joshis, and you know that because they are the most innovative and creative and athletic wrestlers, probably on the planet. Why wouldn't they want to show off some of their own talent? That's what I'm thinking.
But my other side to that is too, we don't know how much Stardom's really going to be involved with Forbidden Door.
I know more than they ever have. Thank you, Rossi, for being gone.
Well, I know something because with the new management, it's quite a different Stardom. I 100% know that. Okay. But, and we know the Stardom's going to be somewhat involved. I don't know. Because, I mean, technically, Mina counts. So you'd have Mina and Thekla in a 4-way, if you want to put it that way. Whereas I'm down with the 4-way. I think that's a great idea.
So here's my counterpoint to you, Jamie.
Okay.
We have been fortunate over the last few pay-per-views, but there was a while there where we were lucky to get both women's titles defended on pay-per-view. And now you're saying they're going to put a non-title women's match on a pay-per-view? Have you seen the women's division? Have you seen the way they booked that?
It's crazy. I know it's a crazy concept, but I'm just thinking,
in a way,
6-woman tag match.
A lot of this talk is a crazy concept. Like the Thekla thing, basically kind of a crazy idea in general. But
I mean, Thekla wants to come to the United States, something fierce, and she wants to be an AEW. Her contract
expires at the end of this year, and it's rumored that she's looking at signing with an American promotion when it happens, and she wants to be with AEW. Is what everybody said. She has been told. She has said, right? I think she fits better in AEW than she would. Julia, I get in WWE, 100%. Totally get it. Okay. Thekla, I think she fits. I think she could do WWE, but I think she makes more sense in AEW.
Yeah, she's Jamie Hayter-ish.
100% Jamie Hayter.
I'm a Jamie Hayter too.
I want to be a Jamie Hayter when I grow up.
So is most of my family.
You know, I can end these polls too. We have the same account we're logged into, Jamie. I can end this poll right now as well.
I know this, but I mean, it's got 80% yes, and then 20%
I got some
no,
people.
kidding,
Thank
boo
you.
this man.
Thank you, 20% of you out there. I appreciate you.
I mean, they still said boo this man. No is not really no.
Well, it is the word no. So
no, then kidding, boo this man.
No. Context.
Spoken like a true Missouri Tiger fan there. Oh no. We're big time. We're in the SEC.
I can't wait till it's football season. My God, I can't wait till it's football season again.
I know. All right. So the next international champion sends a warning to the current international champion. I'm just calling it out now. I don't care. I'm bookmarking it. Mark Stradamus stamp. Will Ospreay will be the next international champion.
Oh, I'm with you there.
And he gives a stern warning to Mr. Roderick Strong.
I loved this Will Ospreay promo. It was legible. It was great.
Yeah, like not much else. It was both those things in spades. Like
I hate that first thing has to be the first thing we throw out there, because unfortunately with his accent, it first thing you need to do is be legible. But no, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was just a really good promo from Ospreay. The match is going to be dope, and I don't think anyone thinks there's any chance that Ospreay is not winning this match. And he should, because he still resides overseas. So he can take the international title and, brace yourselves, guys, defend it in other nations, because it is an international title.
That's crazy talk. Crazy talking.
Okay.
International title
I thought we've had this talk to you before, Austin, about you with your logic. Okay,
That's not logic. That's wishful thinking.
I mean,
king of wishful thinking.
That's naive optimism.
It's also, straight definition of the word. So I mean, there's that. But whatever.
Yeah, and like, what a way to elevate that title. Let Ospreay go defend it all over the world. He's already halfway over to the other side. Like,
I hear you. Well, and to be fair too, counterpoint, maybe it's the rub off of Ospreay, but Roddy sounded a lot better in this promo than he has for weeks as well.
Yeah, I think it's time for Roddy to drop that title too. Like the Undisputed Kingdom thing, just, you didn't get Adam Cole back when you thought you would. You're not getting MJF back when you thought you would. Like, the whole thing's just kind of never really got started the way you want it to. Let's move that title on to Ospreay and then send Undisputed Kingdom after Bullet Club and those 6-man titles. And let's get a nice little fun run out of that.
Yeah.
I'm in on that, because it's a good reset, because to your point, the Undisputed Kingdom right now has no legs.
Yeah. And I mean, it's unfortunate. It's not the fault of anyone involved. Just, you had a story set up, you had a lot of injuries derail it, and it never found its feet.
Excellent.
Outside of War Daddy getting more or less squashed by Joe.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Freaking War.
Hey guys, a contract signing happened, and guess what happened?
Oh, those are always so calm. This was so calm. They're very benign and very,
yeah.
Oh wait. Liking the contract signing?
I'm just over contract signings. I know it's a wrestling trope, but I've grown sour to them. Just like Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Rob. Oh, sorry, I was talking to Rob.
Here's the thing with the contract signing. So Mercedes Moné just kind of called her shot and said, you know what? I'm going to debut at Double or Nothing, and I'm going to challenge for the TBS title. from what they're showing us on TV, that was not official until that contract was signed tonight. Would Willow just walked out and been like, nah.
Which
I
would
don't
have been
wanna-
amazing.
Wait, I thought you were the CEO. You call the shots. Apparently, if I don't sign this paper, you don't get the match you said you were going to have. What are you going to do about it? That's the problem with contract signings. Is like, why are there only 4 matches a year where they actually sign a contract about it? Is everything else just Wild West? Like, is there a sign-up sheet backstage? It's just like, I wrote my name down first. I get this match. But that being said, it was all worth it for the thunderous pop Willow got when she planted Mercedes through that table.
I like Mercedes getting the heat from the crowd.
Me too.
I like it because for her to be an effective heel, we all love her as a heel. But long has one Mr. Austin Reddick talked to Jamie and myself and everyone else here watching. Thank you for joining us, by the way, everybody. Hit the like button down below. Subscribe while you're down there. Long have you talked to us about true heels and true faces and their apparent lack of the trueness of them in AEW. And they've taken steps to rectify that to some extent. And Mercedes, we've all said, especially Jamie, has been very big on heel Mercedes, heel Sasha. That's the only version we need to have, right? To have a true heel, you gotta have that heat, right? She's getting more of that heat every time, which is great. Unintended side effect of maybe how slow they're drawing this out, probably, but I don't care because the heat's what matters. Okay, so that's 1. 2, Willow, great promo. I don't remember shit of it, but she's fantastic. Love Willow to death. Love how over she is. And then you give it back to Mercedes, who didn't do for the first time a full out WWE promo. There's definitely some with it, but very heely, very good. I like the way that they're turning this through, right? We all know the direction it's going to go. We all know who's going to win. We all know the path, the way it's going to be. But I like the fact of them basically confirming that we got to make her heel and we got to turn it in the right way. This is the right way. I was down with it. So I really enjoyed it, personally.
Yeah, you have to make Mercedes a heel because, like, the crowd wasn't even super into the CEO chants during her entrance anymore. There was some of it, but it is waned. It is not nearly as loud as it used to be.
It's not a good chant either.
Speaking of Willow's promo, the line about last time we wrestled, I walked out as a champion, you didn't walk out at all, was one of the hardest promo lines I have heard in a long time. Willow's promo was great. Mm-hmm. And as Big Rob said in the chat, it is sad that Willow's got to drop the belt. And I really wish she didn't have to, but you're going to get so much heat behind Mercedes by her taking that title. I still think it's coming after Stokely Hathaway turns on Willow, probably Statlander too. On the one hand, I don't want to see Willow's reign end this quick, but on the other hand, that just speaks to how good of a babyface she is. Yeah. Nobody wants to see Willow drop that belt, but it's going to make her even more of a babyface and make Mercedes even more of a heel. And at the same time, it's just like, man, it sucks Willow's got to drop that title, but like, it's where the story has to go.
It does.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. Willow right now is arguably one of their top baby faces. I mean, Tony is not supposed to be, and she is, but Willow is supposed to be, and she is. And, just to add some even, flavoring on that, or pieces of flair, if you will. I don't know if you guys noticed, like, I know it's definitely on TikTok, and I think there's maybe a Twitter on this one, where there's these kids do a wrestling club. Have you seen this? Like, where they watch wrestling. Yeah. She happened to show up while they're doing that. Like that's just some cool shit, man. Like she's kind of a big deal now, and everybody loves her. And a former WoW woman as well. She happened to be on WoW. We happen to know a few formers, but
Thankfully,
I love what she's doing. I do wish that they did more with this story. Like I don't know, have a match before this of some sort. Or just some kind of physical altercation. That maybe it was a no contest, something, because I think that is why this thing has become stale.
Rob puts a good point out there, and I know this is another old trope, but what Rob in our chat says here, make Willow's chase. I guess Willow's chase will make up for losing it, basically. So the chase to get it back, right? This is the determination. And if you do have, even if it's not inherently like a straight turn, but they leave her high and dry, Statlander and Stokely, you've got something to occupy her, but kind of the hangman angle, right? You've got that long-term goal. I'm getting it back from you, right? That's something you could pay off at Full Gear or Revolution next year, right? You don't have to do that and have it immediately turn around and flip the title back to her in London, although you could,
I would pivot if the reporting I mentioned earlier is true, and you still don't have any timetable on Jamie Hayter returning. I think Willow drops the title to Mercedes here. Obviously, Forbidden Door, you're going to get some Joshis involved, do some other stuff. But I think before too long, you send Willow after Toni Storm, because I think Willow's the only woman on the roster right now that could be the other half of a good program with Toni Storm. And I think the fans would actually cheer Willow beating Toni for the AEW Women's title.
I mean, I would.
It feels a lot like how Toni won the belt from Jamie, because both women weren't necessarily totally heel, totally face, right?
And I think you do that, and then if you are getting Britt Baker coming back soon, I think Britt's good to slot into the next feud for Mercedes.
I'm good with that. I'm actually really good with that. That one there I love. Britt versus Mercedes? Yes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Right into these things.
Yeah.
All right. One last thing, Jamie.
Yeah, there was one last thing, and it was amazing.
So good. So good.
You had
Jamie was over there just salivating, I know, during this entire match.
I know. You had the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, going up against Dax Harwood for the AEW Continental Championship. And this was technical wrestling at its purest form. And I'm going to quote the Bible. Jamie wept.
I don't know if there has been a Dax Harwood singles match in AEW that wasn't phenomenal. Granted, all the FTR tag matches for the most part are phenomenal as well, but
he's so good.
Man, and you knew he wasn't going to beat Okada, but it didn't matter. You got this on your TV. And
I mean,
what a way to end the Wednesday night.
And how about the sell of his neck, and the long drawn out 10 count, then he can't stand up and he can't but he can do a German suplex. I mean,
the German suplex
hits.
8 though.
Ooh. German suplex was good. Okada was just being Okada out there. Everything. Oh.
It was so good. And I saw a dumbass meme on the internet earlier this week that was Tama Tonga and the other guy go to WE and immediately become stars, and Okada goes to AEW. He's just another guy. And are you not watching AEW? Because Okada's been presented as nothing but a big deal. And we're getting to see him wrestle regularly too, which is awesome.
I think that's
when he first came in, I wasn't sure how often we'd get Okada on free TV, but We're getting it regularly, and it's always great.
So, fun fact, guys, I have happened to do another podcast today for work, and somebody was asking me about wrestling because I like was joking, like we were doing sound checks, and I did like the Macho Man thing. It's like, who's here into wrestling? And I was like, well, I have a great podcast about it. And then like we were talking, and he's like, I haven't watched it in a long time. And I had to explain how wrestling right now, today's wrestling is like 31 flavors. Like it's literally Baskin Robbins. You know, if you're really into blood and hardcore, we got something for that. If you are into theatrics and very little wrestling, but definitely more about the story and things like that, we got WWE for you. If you are into phenomenal wrestling with some pretty solid stories and just over the top athleticism, AEW is there for you. If you want a little bit of mixture of everything with the blood and guts and everything like that, and it's a little bit less high level, you got GCW. You know, like you got all these things. Like you have everything that at your fingertips. And he's like, man, you just made it sound so enticing. I'm like, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan right now, man. Like all these people bashing because Tama Tonga and Tonga Leoa are now in. I mean, the Gorillas of Destiny, the fucking Gorillas of Destiny are in WWE, and by God, they better call themselves the Gorillas of Destiny. First,
they need to use that. That is like one of the greatest names that's ever been used in wrestling.
But they are there. They're one of the best tag teams on the planet. And somebody's trying to say that they're becoming mega stars. They were already stars, bitch. That's all I got to say about that. They were already stars, and now they're becoming bigger stars. Congratulations to them. But they are not the greatest wrestler on the planet. That is Will Ospreay. But it's also Kazuchika Okada, man. Like,
good catch.
Like you have 1A and 1B literally on my screen every Wednesday.
And also Bryan Danielson is there.
Oh, okay, one C.
Just add in like just how much talent is on.
Oh, by the way, there's also John Moxley, you know. Oh, and Claudio Castagnoli's still here too, right? Oh, and Swerve's the champion, you know.
And Riho
with her pipe. Which, by the way, you should, if you haven't already, go follow on Twitch The Cleaner's Corner. That's twitch.tv/The Cleaner's Corner. It's Kenny Omega's Twitch. I don't know. He does like it once a week, like on a Friday is what he's been doing. He said this last week. He doesn't know like how long he's gonna, you know, he's getting procedure done in the near future. He doesn't know when that's going to be exactly, but he's definitely going to be out for a while with that. But it's great. He plays some video games. It's either Street Fighter or Final Fantasy. And he talks a lot of wrestling. Nakamura's usually there. He cut a 20-minute promo on Will Ospreay and Okada in the middle of his stream this past week. That was just Kenny Omega greatness. It was so good. He did a big long thing about Joshi Wrestling as well, how it's more than Stardom, and just started throwing stuff out there. But yeah, I just want to throw that out to you because I don't think I'll talk to you about that since in a little bit, Jamie. Yeah, go follow Cleaner's Corner, everybody. Kenny Omega on Twitch. It's good. It's good stuff.
So after the match, there were some shenanigans afoot, of course. But
that's a place with all the funny shit on the wall, right?
Yeah. And the mozzarella sticks. Yeah, so after the match, you know, there was some fighting and everything, and then out comes the new fourth member of Team AEW, and it's none other than the man who broke his ankle and got hit by a damn bus, and yeah, here he is gonna defend everything, Darby Allin, and I could be more underwhelmed than this. I don't know.
Austin, you start this off because JV has very reserved thoughts. Not so reserved, but very direct thoughts about this.
So I have historically not been a Darby Allin fan of any sort. but I get why he's over. I get why he's popular. And if you're gonna have a giant brawl around the arena with no rules, you could do a lot worse than putting the stunt man of the company in that match to do something wild. That being said, going back to what I said earlier, honestly, anyone that's not Eddie Kingston in that spot is going to be a bit of a letdown for me because, like, that's the match Eddie Kingston's there for. That being said, this was a bit underwhelming to me personally. I get it. Darby's over. Darby's an AEW guy. Like, okay, he would stand up against the Elite. I kind of get that. But to me, the first thing it told me was that the Elite is winning this match for sure. Secondly, you need a fourth guy. Bryan Danielson is in that match. His two buddies that have been in several Anarchy in the Arena matches now,
John
that just
Moxley
like showing up and
obvious.
fighting folks.
Yeah.
Mox and Claudio like didn't immediately say, "Don't worry, Brian, we'll show up and do this for you." Especially Claudio said he walked out of Danielson's promo the other week. I think it was on Collision because Eddie was there, and he still hates Eddie. Eddie's out. Why wouldn't Claudio show up with his giant crowbar and be like, "Hey, let's do this"? Why isn't Mox the fourth one in that? It did seem to fall a little flat to me.
I think that the obvious answer is John Moxley is what you think. He has a history with Eddie Kingston. He's in the Blackpool Combat Club with Bryan Danielson. Kingston's out. Hey, bro, take my spot. Gotcha, buddy. Boom, I'm in, right?
He's Mr. AEW.
You would think that. And I'm going to play devil's advocate for this entire thing. So my personal opinions about Darby Allin and all that stuff don't matter, right? I agree with everything Austin said about the beginning of him. Yes. And we all know why he's popular, why he's there. Okay, I get it. Okay. Girls love him. He sells T-shirts. He's willing to put his body on the line for the company. Here's the two big thematic points why this is the best move for them. Okay. One, for the match, it makes sense. Who was his last match against?
Fair.
The Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Right? So, last real match, right? Him and Sting, Young Bucks, right? You know, and there's that feud there. That's why they took him out, you know, because of that. So, from a feud standpoint, it makes sense, okay? Also, and you've dabbled at the whole pillar talk in the past before, okay? But you got Jack Perry right there. Jack and, you know, Darby have had some kind of like squaps back and forth over the years. And if you're looking at it and still holding any light to that pillar talk at all, right? Or at least the people who are involved in the whole pillar conversation, you know? These are going to be foundations of your company for the next 15 years, okay? So having them, because he immediately went to Jack Perry, if you notice, when he ran into the ring. It was the first person he went to. You would think he would have gone to the person who, you know, still is holding his idol's bat hostage. But no.
I was going to say, the Bucks didn't take Darby out.
Oh, that's right.
That was Jay
No.
White.
Jay White has the bat. I forgot. He painted gold for
Jay White's the one who took him out.
Yep. But yeah, Jack Perry, Darby, those make sense, right? Yes, on the surface, and my brain said the same thing. Moxley's going to come out naturally, right? And if it's not Moxley Claudio, I totally get that as well. But I do understand it from the thematic points that they have there, tying that together. And if you're, as a company, invested in this guy, you gotta throw him against the wall and see if it sticks. So you gotta put it out there. So that's what I think, Jamie.
I mean, if there's one guy who could easily eat a pin and get the shit kicked out of him for 98% of a match, it's Darby Allin. I get it. But Moxley, Claudio, anybody. He's not even close to 100% healthy. Like, how is he even going to get cleared? Like, that's the thing. Dude just got hit by a bus. He's got a broken nose. Like, I I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with the direction of it. I get it though. I just don't agree with it. It's just one of
They
those
must
things.
have something in plan for Mox and Claudio.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're getting some kind of tag with them against Takeshita and whoever else they want to throw into that. I would have rather seen if you were bringing Darby back for Double or Nothing. Let's get him into something with Jay White, and let's get Jay White on that show as well. But I mean, yeah, it wasn't a bad move for AEW. And really, as far as AEW is concerned, as a business and as a company, it's never a bad idea to throw Darby into anything. But yeah, I would have rather seen Mox in that match.
Yeah. Well, that was Dynamite, guys.
It's solid.
I enjoyed it. I like some of the little tweaks they did. You notice they didn't do the backwards interview anymore. They did have a little like sideline report thing as I can't remember who it was for Dex Harwood, you know, with Renee at the ringside. That was different. I like having the running timer for like the sub main, so the mid show big. I like having that timer up in the right corner the whole time, right? But you know, here's a big match and it's coming up in this amount of time. I liked that. They tried some different camera angles, so I kind of think that they're still playing around with things a little bit, and I think it's not a bad idea considering the production value that WWE's been doing, but just to keep it fresh, I'm good with it. So I enjoyed it.
I agree. Yeah, the last week and the week before were some of the best episodes of Dynamite they've ever had. It was just flames throughout. This week was a little bit of a step back, but it was still very good. And it can't just be like the greatest episode ever every single week. Like that's asking too much. But I mean, you moved a bunch of stories along. You're getting close to Double or Nothing. Next week's going to be the real Telltale one. Do they nail the go home episode or do they not? And we'll be right here to talk about it afterwards.
So I got you pegged right at 12, JB.
That's correct.
I got them all.
Exactly 12. Exactly.
Thank you for giving us the line, Heather. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys giving us some of your time. We will be back again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. We're going to talk about the go home for Dynamite. That belt that Megan was so proud to show off on last Friday evening. Coming back to somebody else.
This guy. Staying in the house. It's going to be me or her.
We shall see. We shall see. So we'll have so go home show next week, and then we got, of course, Double or Nothing coming up over the weekend. And a fair reminder for those of you who are going to be in Denver weekend of the 24th, please, you don't have much time, but if you don't know what you're doing, 24th, 25th, go check out Lucha Libre and Laughs. It's a fantastic promotion. We've been there. We wanted to go this weekend. We just couldn't make it fly, Jamie and myself, that is. Austin's going to be wrestling 2 nights, both nights there. So go check it out. Get tickets. They will sell out. 100% they're going to sell out.
For sure.
So don't wait till get them at the door, you know. But stay tuned. We'll let you guys know when we got other things to announce coming up here. As always, again, we appreciate your support. If it's your first time here, welcome in. Hit the subscribe button down below. You hit the little bell to know when we go live. And if we don't hear from you, we'll talk to you. We'll see you guys next week. So, Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down Total Spotfest, I got 4 words for you. Hasta la vista, baby. Of course. Of course.
Of course.
Well done.
See you guys.
Peace.
Later.